Like all of my other streamer friends are onto OBS, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
There's too much
So
fiddly bits.
it
Sienna, we will never be beyond OBS because me and you on our technology.
I'm terrible with tech. I'll never graduate also. I feel like I'll never. It's not happening.
right. I
I just find my way onto the IG lives, just.
That's all me and Sienna can handle twice a week, although we have grand plans of branching out, but
It's nerve-wracking.
yeah.
we don't have
It,
tech support with us. We are tech support.
it
We
gets
are each other's
so
text.
YouTube and Google are my tech support 90% of the time.
Yeah, that's fair.
100%. YouTube videos, YouTube University. I feel
Reddit's
Right.
usually good. Yeah.
So
I could read it
we'll
100
see if
times
this
over, it still wouldn't make
works.
sense in my brain.
We'll see if this works because last time, like YouTube is still giving me a thing saying connect streaming software to go live. But when I tested it earlier while I had the white screen, it gave me that same loading message. So,
Okay.
but it did record the white screen that I had. So, if nothing else, we've got this recording as a backup so I can put it up, after we're done or tomorrow or something. So we're like, sorry guys, the live didn't work out, but here's what we talked about. It's the best I can do.
Today is one day, tomorrow will be another. Well, if it's not today, then that's, it's fine.
Right, and
We'll get it sorted out.
I'm still figuring everything out. Like I said, I mean, I think I said it in every recording I've done so far with Lauren, with Gigi, the one I just did with Jonna D. I started this on a whim, so I really have zero clue what I'm doing, and I'm learning as I go.
But they're the best journeys to be on.
Yeah, it says that you're live and it's white. It's a white screen.
And
Oh, fun. So, well, I don't know what to do because it's telling me that it's ah. I don't know how to fix that. Um, did that fix it?
Not yet, but it might take a while to.
Okay.
Also, since I have the tab muted, I couldn't tell you if sound's coming through or not.
What am I looking for? Because I joined the party late.
Oh, well, Books, Brews, Dogs
Live
on
on
YouTube.
YouTube.
Ah, yes, we're there now.
Ah,
We're up.
woohoo.
Because it's not, because I'm the creator and I'm live, it's not showing me, like,
Yeah,
the
you won't see
actual-
the same thing.
Yeah. So, hopefully. All right, so I think we got it. I think we got it figured out.
Yay!
And we're only 2 minutes after 7, so we're not really that late.
We're on
I'm done.
time, as far as I'm concerned.
Fantastic.
It's right on time. So, oh my goodness, I'm so happy to see Lauren and Gigi again, and I'm so happy and Tanya as well, or Z. Which
Z.
would you prefer?
I go by Z. Tanya's
Z.
like the thing
Okay.
I sign credit card receipts for.
Got it. And I remember that, but because we do transactional
Yeah,
stuff,
it
I
comes
see
through.
that name in
Yeah.
it. So, okay. And Sienna and Caroline, it's so great to meet you guys. Finally, I know we have some interviews scheduled with you that'll be coming up this year, and can't wait till I get to them. I've been having so much fun doing those interviews. It's so easy to get off track, though, which is kind of why I was like, let's do a chat session where we just talk books. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my introduction. I'm Rebecca. I own Books, Brews, Dogs, which we started to help animal rescues. And so what we do is we sell Blind Date with a Book, and the profits from that go back to animal rescue efforts. And then I also try to make sure to include indie author books on our table to help get you guys out there and buy your books from you when I have the funds to do that. And so that's what I do. And who wants to go next? We'll put Z on the spot because she's the only other non-author.
I'm the other oddball that I'm not an author. I guess I'll go. My name is Z, and I run a tea shop. It's an online tea shop called Tabletop Teas. I do loose leaf blends that are all inspired by various geeky fandoms. So Dungeons and Dragons is like a big section of that, but I also have some book blends, and I have worked with authors in the past to create blends for their books, usually book releases. So I too am a book fan, and I have 2 rescue dogs. So it's my jam.
I guess we'll go around the circle and I'll go next. I'm Lorene Sorensen. I'm based in Austin, Texas, and I write contemporary romance. I've been writing God knows how long, since I, started reading. But my sister was writing poetry out on like the original like old white Mac, small like 12-inch screens. I was like, oh, that looks like fun. That looks something like I'd want to do. So that started in middle school, but I've recently really started committing to writing full time with my True Heart series, which The Trouble with Christmas is a part of. And my latest release is The Reluctant Star, which just recently got nominated for an award.
I was so
So we'll
excited to
see
see
if
that. It's
that
such
comes
a
along.
good book. It's so good.
Yeah. One of my readers was like, "Hey, you're up for nomination." I was like, "What is this? Is this valid?" And then I did some research, and it is, and I'm really excited to say that. So we'll see if we go through round 2 and if I get anywhere with it. So anyway, that's me.
All right. So
Oh,
Caroline,
well, I'll
do you
go
wanna
next. I'll go next since I'm Lauren's friend. Lauren's like my writing work wife. We met online, shared love of Outlander. Jamie Fraser's got a lot to answer for, and yeah, it's great to find.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
well, she is in New Zealand, so there's probably
Yeah.
some lag there.
For a few months and decided to ride a motorbike across Russia. And so stuck at home, I kind of started talking to myself on paper with a lot of the ideas that I'd had. And so I wrote a kind of time travel series, which is really more about time slip across parallel lives. A lot
It's
of
really
it's set.
good.
Thank you. A lot of
You're
it's set
welcome.
in Scotland, which is like my most favorite country in the world. And then I moved on. So I did a 4-book series plus a prequel novel. And then I decided to try my hand at contemporary. And of course, my first thing that I had to do was Christmas, because I'm totally in love with Christmas. So I wrote a book called The 12 Days of Christian, which came out last year. And I'm currently working on Not My Little Drummer Boy, which is the second, and it follows the members of a British rock band and the 4 guys in the band. And of course, there are 4 girls who are going to change their lives. And my first book, I'm also pretty dog mad. I'm a bereaved dog mama. I've had 6 dogs over the years, and I've had a bit to do with rescue as well. And so the dogs found their way into that first book. Their rescue dogs are very much the centre of that Christmas book. And then this year I decided to go a little crazy. Since I was reading a lot of sports romance, mainly hockey, I decided to write a sports romance. So the first one in the series called the Heartland series, and it's set in Scotland, of course. Why wouldn't you? And it's based around rugby because, let's face it, while I adore hockey, I know a lot more about rugby because I grew up with it and I'm just immersed in it here in New Zealand. So that came out in early June. And so I'm just loving this author journey. It's a bit of a wild ride, but having people like Lauren and other, authors behind you, you're never alone. So, yeah, so that's me.
I've just got to let my little dog out and then I'll be back.
Okay.
In 2 seconds.
Very
Well,
important.
she's getting her pup. You want to go, Gigi?
I will jump in. I see that little smiling husky in the corner there.
No, so ever since you put the request on Instagram to show his smiling face, I've been trying to get him to smile, and he's been walking around all grumpy face for like 2 days, the last 2 days. So I don't have any pictures of him smiling. So when I looked down, he was smiling. I was like, oh, I have to show Gigi.
Yeah,
So-
y'all, he came into our interview and he just came in, like you can see this dog smiling, huge smile. He's like, "Hi, Mom." It was so adorable.
Yeah.
I'm Gigi Meir. I write spicy reverse age gaps, so older women, younger men. And that's been really, really fun to have 2 series. Cougars and Cubs series. It's as spicy and everything that you think. And then I have the Bikers of Boston, which I'm 2 books in, and I love it. It's a lot more angsty, but still brings the heat. And then I also have a dark romance series called the Canyon series. And if you look at those covers, you will see it's completely dark, deliciously dark, emotionally traumatizing, with tons of content and trigger warnings on my website.
Your books are, oh, wow. Oh, no, I'm not on mute. I've enjoyed it.
That's my bestie, Sienna.
Yeah.
Hi, Sienna. You want to introduce yourself a little bit now?
My introduction won't be as good as your guys. I'm Sienna. I don't even know where to start. I've been writing for, before COVID, I started writing just privately. Didn't think anything of it, just put some thoughts on paper, went on to Wattpad and put it up there, and a few people sort of encouraged to publish them. And then eventually I published my first book, which was absolutely not good when I first published it. And then I did the anthology with Meg and a group of people, and I learned a lot through that process of doing that. And then I went back to the book that I had already published and redid it. And then I've gone on book 4 now. So, yeah.
And a shameless plug for those writers that are watching and those in here. Me and Sienna go live on Instagram, holding each other accountable with writing sprints. We do that Mondays and Fridays, 8 a.m. Central Time in the States, 9 p.m. Aussie time in Australia. So if you guys want to join us, hang out, come in, say hi, get some writing done, we're there to support you.
Yes.
Absolutely. I've watched it. They're quite entertaining. Just hanging out in their PJs, having some fun. Definitely worth going in and hanging out every once in a while. Or each time, help hold yourself accountable as well. So
Yeah.
Gigi, you have lots of other projects that you do too, because you also interview authors. And
I do. So I have Let's Go Live on Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, where I interview authors, editors, anyone in the publishing industry. But I really have focused mainly on authors because I find that writing a book is on everyone's bucket list, and that's pretty globally what people want to achieve. So if I could be an inspiration to new and established or new and aspiring authors to help them understand that the writing journey and the path to becoming a published author is a million different ways. There's no right way, there's just your way. And I don't want people to give up or get frustrated or uninspired. So I have all sorts of people on my show just to show them like anyone can do it, full schedule, stay-at-home mom, career woman, you name it, it can get done. And then I have 2 podcasts, Literary Lines, which is also author interviews. And then I have the Gigi Meir podcast, which is reinvention at any age. You don't like your life? Let's reinvent it.
I love it.
Love that.
I love it. And
I
we
love
talked so if you want to hear more about that stuff, you can always check out the interview with Gigi, which was posted here on our site, on the YouTube channel. We do go into that a little bit more extensively. So I love what you're doing, and it aligns so much with what I'm trying to do and help push out small businesses and authors, because how Z came to be a part of this is we met at a vending event where I was selling books and she was selling tea, and I was like, I would much rather have a loose leaf small business tea to offer with my books than whatever you can buy at the grocery store. And so I talked to her and we connected and we worked out a deal that could work where it would fit in the mail. Because the first bunch I bought, it didn't fit in the mail
Yeah, I
bag.
actually changed my packaging entirely just because of this. Not just the samples, the rest of them are the same, but I changed the sample packaging.
Okay, Z, I want to do a PR book box for the Bikers of Boston series. So when I already got a note down about the tea, but it's gonna have to be spicy.
Okay, I
Ooh.
mean, chais are my favorite things to make.
I
So,
just started drinking chai, and oh my gosh, it's like
yeah.
a new.
It is
Good.
one of
Good,
my
yeah.
favorites. I can never turn down an Earl Grey, but give me a chai, like, they're so good. They're so
I've never
good.
liked Earl Grey, and I think it's Aussie Earl Grey that I don't like because when I went to Italy recently, on the plane they gave me an Earl Grey, and it was a bit more spicier, like it had like a
Mhm.
peppery taste, and oh, I was like, oh my God. And then I got home and I got onto the chai. So.
I think so. I don't like bergamot. I just don't like bergamot. So I don't like Earl Greys.
Yeah.
But Earl Greys are hugely popular. So
Mm.
I make them because people like them, but they're not my cup of tea, pun intended. But it could just be a lot of people find the bergamot just really like it's very sharp and it's kind of a one note flavor. And it was only originally added to make the tea more palatable to British populace after it had spent 6 months in a, on the ocean in crates coming from India. It was just a thing that got added. And then I guess they stuck with it because once they got a thing going, they just, tradition.
Yeah.
That's interesting to know. I didn't know that. Um, that's really cool. Because I knew they did that with beers. That's why you have the hoppy beers are
Hmm.
called IPAs. And so, because they were making them last till they got
Right, to have to
overseas.
last
So,
the whole trip back. Yeah.
but I didn't really ever think about doing that, like that you would have to do that with tea when it would take months to get somewhere.
And it was
So
more
it's
like
interesting.
because tea stores really well.
Yeah.
It's a dry good, unless it's like something like sencha or something that's super fresh, like a super fresh green. Um, but you put it in a crate on the ocean with all that weather,
Yeah.
it's not getting to the port on the other side in any great shape. Not gonna lie.
Right. Hey, Lauren,
Yes,
can you put your links for people to vote for TRS in the
sure.
chats or comments or somehow so we can make sure that people watching this can check it out and see that? Because I think that's
Would it be
so amazing for you.
would it be under the would it be under the chapter chats for
I think if you put it in the
the Zoom?
YouTube chapter chats comment section, I think that would be the best place for people to access it.
Okay, I will work on that so that I can get that to everyone.
Yeah, I think that would be
But
a
yeah,
great
I will
place.
make that happen.
So
Everyone must vote.
yeah,
Yes.
There are lots of
if you're
nominees,
watching
but
this,
so
vote.
everyone must vote. Scroll, scroll,
There's
scroll, and you can find Lauren.
And
there's an amazing collection of indie authors, and there are a lot
Mm.
of friends that I've seen. But I was just so surprised that that was a thing that happened. But yeah, well, I'll get that link. I don't know if I have the YouTube link
I
open,
love
so
that
that makes.
cover. That cover's
right,
Yay.
gorgeous.
Oh,
isn't
there's
it's
my dog.
so gorgeous? And so I bought several of these from her to put on our table too. So they're in our offerings. So if you order a contemporary romance from the website or pick one out on the table, you just might get her book.
Yay.
But it's so beautiful. Like
Thank you.
I just love it. So, um,
I like formatting. I think it's really fun to format your own books. I know it can be stressful, but I actually really end up enjoying like finding the right like visual for like what do my characters embody and how can I represent this story the best way visually possible? Because I think that makes it stand out. And so having the autonomy to make my own books to my expectation is really gratifying. So
Yeah, and you did such a
Yeah,
beautiful
I
job
think
of formatting it.
that's one of the best things, isn't it, about being an indie author? Although you have to
Mhm.
do all the things, the little control freak in me loves having control over all the things too. And it's a real buzz when you actually hold a book in your hand that you've actually done every step of the way. Makes up for all tearing your hair out when images don't come out right and you do them 10 times over, but it's worth it.
I hate formatting, so I'm gonna just send you all my books to format, okay?
I don't, well,
I mean
I don't love it that
I
much.
I don't format. I send it to AJ. She's part of our baby author group, and I send it to her because she's great.
And then I fangirl over Sienna's formatting because it has images inside, and I'm like, what is this sorcery? And she's like, you could do it too if you would just learn or pay for someone. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I did have my book here. I have I don't know if you can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like bring it closer, Sienna, because your blur is hitting it. It's so good. Her images are like hot dudes. That didn't hurt anybody's
Kind of like
feelings.
your book covers.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, right.
It just keeps not
Yeah.
working.
It's just got to be in the like sweet zone. Like
Supposed to be my
oh,
Right
here we
there,
go.
right there. Oh,
Yeah,
that's nice.
great looking. But see, that's the thing, Rebecca, is you put hot guys on the cover, but you won't get into Barnes and Noble. You have to have
I
like
don't have hot
flowers
guys.
or
I've got like
something.
Yeah.
the cover's a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have a discreet cover in order to get into the bookstores nowadays.
Yeah.
that makes sense though.
It
Yeah.
does.
It would be nice if it was like old VHS stores though, where you went behind the beaded curtain and that's where that stuff was.
Yeah.
That's for old people. That was a reference
We
only
have
for
a
old people.
lingerie store in the
Yeah.
Please
in
tell
the
us
shopping
more about
centre
this
like
beaded
that.
curtain.
And
No,
it's
but
got
it
the
used to be.
skirt that you open, go in and get your lingerie.
Well,
That
Fabio
little
was
back
out on all
room.
those romance with his naked chest, and they were all in stores.
Mills and
But,
Boon.
we can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I remember
You
looking at
guys.
my grandmother's bookshelf and like, what is she reading when I was younger?
Do not judge me, but I just only found out that Mills and Boons wasn't what I thought it was when I was young. I never read one. My mum read them, and my mum is such a tomboy that I did not think she was into romance, and did not think Mills and Boons was what Mills and Boons is.
Funny.
So this is a weird, annoying thing, but there's a character limitation on the chat in YouTube, and I'm short by like 15. I'm too long by like 15 characters, so I can't upload the official link on YouTube chat.
Huh.
Is that just like the most annoying thing ever?
It is.
I don't know. Like,
Can you break it in two where it makes sense? You know how they always have like some of it is words and then it's like a slash, then you get into all the weird numbers that are random. Can you break it in two?
I would just, yeah. So, guys, if you're gonna follow the link, it's gonna be in two parts. So, I'm gonna follow that immediately. So, sincerest apologies for making this awkward, but
Yeah, I wonder if you
I'm just
send
gonna
it
let
to
the baby
me.
in.
I wonder if you send it to me if I can put it in the description. So YouTube had this thing where until I had so many views or had so many videos posted or whatever, I can't add an actual link in the descriptions for
Yeah, I was
people
about to say
click
usually
on
it blocks
until.
links unless you are
But
more of a
I
big deal.
think I can post it. It just won't actually. They won't be able to click link. They'll have to like highlight it. But I think I can still post it.
okay.
But
Then
yeah,
I'm
you have
gonna
to have like
send you the whole
500
link in the Zoom
followers or
chat.
so many videos or something like that before you can post a link.
Okay, here's the link in the Zoom chat, and then that way we can see what we can do with it later. But there should be two links automatically if you combine them together. they should get you going for voting. And there's just mostly I'm just excited that there's so many like amazing indie authors like in this collection. Like Ron, who organized everything, like did an incredible job. And I didn't know who it was until I connected with another indie author, and she guided me towards TikTok account. So I'll, if you want, I will add his account, and that
Yeah,
way, like people can follow him for updates and stuff like that. Because you know, at the end of the day, it's just about supporting indie authors.
absolutely.
I'm glad I'm nominated, but I have a lot of friends that are nominated too, so I'm really excited for them too.
Yeah, it's one of those things, when you would be up for like an award in school and your friends would be up for the same award because you hung out together and you did the same things and you were like I was in the FFA, so a lot of the times we would end up competing against each other and you're like I want it, but you're like I also want them to get it. So there's that weird like who's gonna get it, but there's no hard feelings because you're all rooting for each other. And
Yeah.
when one of us wins, we
And
all kind of win.
it's round one, so it's round one, so it's for the top 10 in each category. So people can vote every day as many times as they want for whomever they want. And honestly, I feel like with the way that the whole list is combined, like you could go through this list and go, I want to read this author, and then decide if you want to vote for them because the first round is until like August 30th. So we have quite a bit of time
That's
for
a lot of
round
time.
one to go through.
That's fun. So what is everyone reading right now?
Oh, I'm reading Throne of Glass. Lauren, I'm reading Throne
Oh my
of
gosh.
Glass.
Yes.
I was late to the whole ACOTAR party, and last year I read the whole ACOTAR series, and Lauren kept saying to me, "Throne of Glass is better." And then my husband, he's a real reader, lucky me, but he read through all of her series well ahead of me. So, but finally I've picked it up. It's really good. I'm enjoying it. Yeah,
I
yeah.
have
So a bit of
Where are you on book one?
yeah, just book one, just book one. I'm
Okay.
hoping to read the lot by the end of the year, but the months are ticking, but we'll see. Mm.
there goes
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
I have
it's really good. So I feel like
yeah.
book one starts off slow and like
Yeah,
That's
you
what I
don't
hear.
really like Selena as a character. Like I didn't like her for a while.
yeah, yeah.
But the more you get into the books, the more you like
Oh,
discover more
yeah.
about her, and she's just
It's
so amazing.
just like ACOTAR, really. I DNF'd it the first time round, the first book, and I didn't really like Feyre. I thought, oh my gosh, But once I got back into it, I loved it. Besides, I wasn't going to let my husband finish the series before I did, but yeah, he beat me anyway.
Okay, I have a question because I've read both series, and Sarah Moss is like the queen of fantasy. But sometimes the names are like this long and they're super complicated, and I just make up like my own name in place
Oh
of it
yeah,
rather than just
yeah.
I can't pronounce hers, or I'll Google Translate, and then I'm like, whatever. Her name is now Selene. And that's her name has been Selene forever. And then she gets, and she'll be like Aylin. Now it's Aylin. I don't even know if that's correct. I'm sure it's not,
It
but that's
is.
what I
You're
told her.
good.
I have like so I read that series and I was talking to somebody about the series and trying to explain it. Now I'm explaining it without saying the title name, and she's like, "I really need to read this book," and I'm saying all the names of the characters, and then when we figured out what book it was, she just looked at me and she goes, "Oh, girl," because you need to get the names right.
Oh, I don't know any of the
Like
names of the
completely threw the
book, but I
names out.
know Akatar and I know Throne of Glass. And then when you talk
Yeah.
about it by those, I couldn't tell you if I'm in Air of Fire or Air something. That's
You're
what I'm at.
good. You got it.
I'm in Air
So,
or something.
Mm.
cheat. I use the audiobooks to read them, and that helps with the pronunciation. So, if you have something to do and you still want to read, Elizabeth Evans does all of the narrations for the audiobooks, and they're incredible.
My bestie
So,
does audiobooks. I'm too ADHD. I will absolutely like if there's audio, I'll just tune it out. So I will miss who knows what. So I have to read. I will still zone out
Um,
reading paragraphs and be like, wait, what did I just read? And have to go back.
Yeah,
But
so
sadly, I can't do audiobooks.
Ray is an
I've tried already.
audiobook reader, so
I
most of his books come through audiobook. Occasionally, like he ended up reading Fourth Wing and stuff on the actual physical book, but then turned around and bought the audio so he could listen to them. Right now, he's re-listening to Wheel of Time, so
Ooh,
yes, which is one of our favorite, his absolute
I have to
favorite
know.
series.
Did Ray make it to the end? I always ask this when
Yeah.
people read Wheel of
So
Time
this
if they
is
made it to the end.
probably
I
his
didn't.
second time this year.
Wow. I mean, it's
This
good, but oh my gosh.
I don't think he listens to it from book 1 to book 14 all the time, but he's probably made it through this at least once already this year. So it's like his background noise when he's doing just about anything. It's been his favorite series since he was a child. And I can't say anything. I do the same thing with Kushiel's Legacy from Jacqueline Carey. It's like my nonstop. If I can't sleep, if I'm struggling, I put her books on and it just helps. So, but for like new books, I'm a physical book reader. And because he does audio and I do physical books, I get the opportunity to sometimes read the book as I'm listening to it so that I get the pronunciation,
Nations too. Nice.
which is helpful.
I have digital and paper. And being ADHD, I just finished The Carpet People by Terry Pratchett.
I love that
Terry
book.
Pratchett is my favorite author.
I have
They-
yes. So I
And
have a
Carpet
D&D
People was his very
character
first
off
book.
Rincewind.
Oh yeah. He wrote it when he was 17, and I would love to read the OG because the one that's out now, that he actually went back and rewrote portions of it. And I would love to, I just want to know what
when did he do
17-year-old
that?
Terry Pratchett wrote. But I'm reading 4 books right now because I have problems.
You're not alone.
Or maybe you
So
have no problems because you can read 4 books at a time.
I did
Well,
this.
it depends on what mood I'm in. Like when I go like sit down, I'm like, because okay, they're like pretty radically different. So Salt and Broom, which is Sharon Fisher. And I got that one on like it was like a 99-cent sale thing, and I was like, sure, why not? And it's a pretty like it's an easy breezy read. It's spooky, but it's like an easy read. But then I have like The Left Hand of Darkness, which is an amazing book, but not an easy read. I have all my books. I don't know. Do you guys know Chocolat?
Soren.
Hi. The movie Chocolat, which is based on a book, this is from that series. And it's a really, really good book. And then I'm reading The Eerie Silence, which is a science book about the search for extraterrestrial life, like the science behind it. It's chunky.
So Murphy's made his appearance now, kind of behind my chair.
Hi, baby.
Okay, so I have a question. I'm super picky when it comes to like audiobooks, and I feel like the narrator, both male and female, they either make the book or they break it. What do y'all think? In between or no?
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Agree.
it can.
I've
Absolutely.
had 2 audiobooks and I'm not a fan of them only because, and it's a me thing because I don't retain the story when it's audio. Like if I tend to like to buy the Kindle version and have that assistant reader so I can read as well as listen. Because I have a auditory processing disorder and I'm dyslexic as well. So it helps me sort of stay within the lines and I can read and I actually obtain what I'm reading. So, but I cannot remember, like after the first page, I'll be like, what happened? Oh my God, I got it back.
It's only me. What?
I have to have
I'm lost.
I have to have captions on the TV or nothing they say makes sense. I can't hear. It doesn't matter how loud it is. I won't be able to hear it. I won't be able to understand anything that's happened if the captions aren't going across the bottom. Like I can't.
I had
And
to teach myself to be okay with captions because captions are distracting to me. But I have so many friends who have auditory processing issues. So I've trained myself to be able to watch stuff with captions without constantly trying to read it and then missing all the stuff that's happening.
I have a
yeah,
I
deaf
it's
started
daughter,
with
so
captions
captions is a
because
thing for us.
huh,
I I was gonna say, I used to watch a lot of foreign films, and so I was
mhm,
used to closed captioning because of that.
yeah, I still do.
But now, like, I do really appreciate, like, now that I'm getting older, I appreciate having both, just in case. So now it's just a safety net now.
Well, Lauren, if you're like me, we have kids that come in and out and chat at you and the dog and
Yeah.
I have to have captions just because I have three people talking to me all the time. And they
Yeah.
don't care that you're watching the show. I'm like, guys, could you? Yeah. So, Lauren, I feel like me and you have to have captions because we have children at home that talk to us all.
Yep. And that was my son just popping in to see what I was doing, just making sure that like I was paying attention to him and now he's run off and who knows what he's doing.
No,
I'm
but I know
waiting for
with
my daughter that she's
audiobooks,
asleep.
if you don't have if that whoever they pick as the narrator doesn't have the voice I think the character should have, I don't want to listen to it. And I know that's that's so
I
bad.
There's
It
so
has
I
nothing to do
can't.
with the author or the book or the story.
Yeah,
But if you didn't pick the right voices, you're done.
I
Yeah, I have a
love.
friend who is
Yeah.
who reads books, who voices books. And she is an actress by trade, and she spends a lot of time doing voice work and accent work with coaches, specifically so that when she's doing books, that she feels like she's a credit to the characters that these authors wrote because she's also an avid reader. So it's important to her that it's got that it sounds coming out of her mouth like it does in your head when you're reading it. And I
Mm.
really appreciate that. She does mostly horror. In fact, I think she only does horror books. So
The
I don't
Aragon
get to listen to
series
them.
drives me crazy. I can't listen to it. I hate the way he does the dragon's voice.
No.
And
and
I
who
just,
and what?
in the
Who?
Aragon series from
Oh,
Christopher Paolini,
Yeah.
um, I love that series. It's beautiful series, especially considering he wrote it at such a young age. I think he was 16 or 17 when it
mhm.
published. And it's a really great series, but the way that the actor does the dragon's voice drives me so insane that I'm like, I can't listen to it.
Oh.
So,
Oh, dear.
I
but
think
I have the
I
whole series, so I can read it. I'm fine.
I think for me, I absolutely agree that the actor makes the story, but sometimes the characters catch you enough that you're like, okay, is this the actor that I would want for the character? No, but they're doing a good enough job that I want to finish the story.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will hold out for that. Um, but most of the time, and I have my favorite. And there are a few people who are classics, like Davina Porter. She narrated Miss Avalon and Pillars of the Earth, which are epic series, which are phenomenal books. And the first time I listened to her, I was like, I don't know, because like her narrative voice uh, was very like basic, I guess, and I wasn't as engaged the first time. But then she gets into her accents and she has the best accents that I've ever heard. And her Scottish accents kill me. Like she does Outlander, and her Jamie is hands down my favorite Jamie Fraser of all time. Um, and there's a new narrator for the Outlander series, and she's very good, but she doesn't top Davina's Jamie. So like, you know, sometimes you just got to give the voice actor a little bit of love and time, and they're gonna grow on you. Um, but
So
I
the
mean, that's
Yeah.
basically how I read.
the female
So
does the male's voice. Does she sound like a man?
yeah, she does an amazing job. She's so
Ah,
good. Yeah. So
And
I
you know,
mean,
it doesn't have to be perfect. Like if you listen to Julia Whalen narrate, single point of view novels. And because I think we've got so used to hearing dual point of view audiobooks, and it's really great. I mean, I do love it. But when you hear someone like her narrate, and she's doing the male voices as well as the female, and it just is seamless, and it doesn't jar. You think, wow, that's a person who's at the top of her game. She's just amazing. Yeah.
So shameless book plug. The Trouble with Christmas is an audiobook, and I had to go. I went through the process of picking narrators for my story, and part of that was, can my male narrator do a really good Rayanne, and vice versa. And that was part of the process for me picking the narrators that I did, because I loved the way that Christian Leatherman narrated Rayanne. His Rayanne is great. Like, is it a little over the top? Yeah, but it's kind of entertaining and it makes me laugh. But he does a really great job catching the like emotional experience that Rayanne goes through. And same for Willa. Like, she does an amazing job doing Caleb's voice. So like, it's 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 a lot. It's a lot, but it's a lot of fun. And my audiobook is my favorite version of The Trouble with Christmas. So
I've heard some of
Audios
those
are
clips,
really
and
like hitting. If you go to like the conventions and the book signings, that it's the biggest thing that people that walk past your table always ask: is this on audio? How do I get it on audio? So it's especially at events. So it's good that you've gone down. I am not going down that way because I cannot afford it.
Yeah. But Lorene, you're just so brave. I just have huge admiration for you going down that track. It's my dream, but I'll just buy a lotto ticket again on the weekend and hope, because it's a huge commitment. But as a lover of audiobooks too, it would be my dream to have.
I would love to do it if it was more, I suppose, financial. That's why I was so interested in your journey, Lorene. Like, so I could figure out what's my goal to save, because that's what I'm always about, is goals. What do I do?
Yeah.
What do I need to do this? So it's in my future goals, but it's just not today.
Part of the decision was because it was a novella. So it's
Mm.
a short book. It's just under 6 hours. So the cost of it was, it was expensive because I picked expensive actors. And, there are a wide range of actors with different prices. And there are very talented actors in all ranges of prices. So you don't have to pick the most expensive actor. It's just so happens that the actress that I picked, when I was listening to them, I was like, oh my God, this is Ryan and this is Caleb. And it was a little more on the expensive side, but it balanced out a little because the story was shorter. So my hope is that just by having this out there to begin with, people will, pick up the story, and then like that'll eventually help me produce larger stories. Because I am such an avid audiobook reader, I want all of my stories accessible, to everyone, to all kinds of readers. So it's a goal one day to get everything, like the Reluctant Star. I have so many ideas for that story because it's set in Hollywood, and I have these Canva pieces that I made into news tabloids, and I thought, how fun would it be to transcribe that into like a radio show, and have like the voice actors take that information from the newspaper and make it into an old-fashioned like news, like gossip talk show. I thought that would be super fun.
You could do it a bit like The Favourites, and I don't know if you've listened to the audiobook of The Favourites, but in between there are bits that are from gossip magazines and things, and I thought of you when I was listening to it.
So I don't know if you realized it, Lorene, but when you said that, you're now committed to it, because I have to hear that now.
It's fine. I'll make it happen.
Just for me.
I want to make it happen.
The accessibility thing is a big issue. My sister-in-law, who is probably one of the few people in my family who knows I actually write and would love to listen to my book. She's legally blind, so she's a big audiobook fan. And the temptation when Amazon sends you things and says, we could do this for you AI narrated, we could do your books for you. It's so tempting, not for the vanity, I suppose, of hearing my words live, though I would love that. But yeah, I just wish that I could afford it so that people like her who are avid readers but aren't able to read normally. So it'd be nice to do that. But anyway,
Did you know that Kindle has a what's it called?
yeah,
It's like
it can read.
Yeah, I can kind of
yeah,
read.
and you
Yeah.
It's
you
whisper
can
sync.
listen to it, but it's up there for people that have lost their sight.
Mm.
So I'd use it because of my own issues. But I found it really, really good. And I've got a reader, and she says to me every time she comes past that her sight's deteriorating, and she doesn't know how long she can read for, and she doesn't want to lose my because she loves my series. And then I've just messaged her out of the blue and just said to her, look, go onto your Kindle, go onto this section, and she's gone, oh my God, thank you, you've just saved me. So yes,
Is it good?
it's got
It's good enough. Like it's
no, and
quality.
you can adjust the speed. It's exactly like an AI.
Do you get
You
to
can
pick the
change the
voice?
voice.
'Cause
You can do
you know how Siri, you can set it to like a British
yes,
or an Irish. So can you pick the voice on Kindle?
yeah, yes, you can.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure you can. I think it's still the Siri voice, um, but it's definitely you can pick the voice. You can change the speed on iBooks. I have to utilize Zuri because that's what I need to do. So I put on text to speech sort of thing, and I highlight and just read the chapter per chapter. But with Kindle, you just have to press play, and it plays it.
Is that
And
through
it picks
Kindle
up
Unlimited or for all books on Amazon?
just just Kindle. So just
I
That's
think it's
cool.
in
any
the
the
ebook,
Kindle
I
app.
suppose.
Kindle.
Any
Yeah.
ebook on your Kindle. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
and you just go, I don't know if you can see, you just go to there and you can see at the bottom, you just press play.
I need this. I need to activate my whisper sync or whatever it is because
I did have to
I have a lot
activate it. I
of.
went into where the letters are, and then I went into more. So you've got font layout and themes, and then I went to more, and then it says assistive reader, and then you put it on.
Mm.
Okay,
That's
right.
cool.
It is cool. We're all learning new tech.
I didn't know about it, and because I need it, I was rapt when I saw it there because I used to read Apple, so I could utilize Siri to read, but then you couldn't do that on Kindle. You couldn't highlight it. They had their own translator on there, and it wasn't the same, and I couldn't do it. It was just too distracting. But now they've got this, and it's amazing. I'm gone back to a Kindle lover, letting go of iBooks.
You know what I thought was really cool? So, Gigi, coming back to your podcast about changing, reinventing yourself. Am I right in that we've got 4 authors here who weren't the 20-year-olds who banged out books and have been doing this forever? All of us. Is that right? Isn't that cool? Yeah. Unless you, Gigi, how long have you been writing?
3 years.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
isn't that great? I just loved
just
that when you said that. I thought, yeah, I wish people could hear that message. So many women think that their life's done and dusted and they're stuck in the career they chose. And yeah, and it's like, it doesn't have to be that way.
No,
Yeah.
and there's a many
Gabriel
women
has
that
this amazing line in his book, and it said, or in one of his songs, he says, "I was tricked by the future that I picked." And I feel like women, we have all those responsibilities. It's always family, it's our husbands, it's, our animals. It's just like we are the nucleus and we bear the brunt of the responsibilities. And so we didn't get here immediately. It's just this gradual progression until all of a sudden we're here with all these responsibilities. And our self-care and our self-love tends to be last. And it really shouldn't be because every person in this world came through our bodies, and yet we're also the ones that are expected to take care of everybody. And I thought, I've radically changed my life. Like I've gotten divorced, I've left corporate America. I mean, I've made some radical changes. And I just want women to be brave. And you don't have to do complete reality changes like I did, you can carve back pieces of your own time or pieces of yourself a little bit at a time.
Is that so?
So that's why I just kicked off that podcast in May to give small, actionable selves to women at any age, because I think we do this all the time. This is both genders. When I get married, divorced, have a child, my child gets into preschool, my child gets into kindergarten, when they graduate, when I get this job promotion, we're constantly moving the line of happiness down the road. To what though, and why? And so I just want to talk to mainly women in general, because 80% of autoimmune diseases are women, 20% are men. And I feel like 80% of women have an autoimmune diseases because we're so busy taking care of everyone else, we don't take care of ourselves. So my podcast is 8 to 10 minutes, short, actionable, drive time commute, listen to it, try and implement one thing. That's it. And then I just started a little 8-week summer reset series that's like 3 to 5 minutes. Like, hey, here's what we're going to do. We have 6 months left in the year. If you want to do something that changes your life, teeny tiny micro steps. I put out the first one. It's like, clean your camera roll. I have now 16,000 photos and videos. And I think if I could just clean things up and I could find it and put them in albums and organize it, we all sit and scroll. We all sit and watch next episode on Netflix. We all waste time. Just go to your camera roll, spend 15 minutes, clean it up, get all those Hawaii pictures in a Hawaii album. So you can find them next time someone's like, I'm going to Hawaii. Oh, great. Let me show it to you. So that's kind of the catalyst of how my Gigi Meir podcast started, because I want to give back to those that need my help. Just want to serve.
That's good.
I love that. I like I was in a career that I loved. Absolutely loved. But I got long COVID and I can no longer work. And so my tea business was originally like a side hustle. I had just a handful of teas, and I would sometimes share a booth with a friend at a convention or sell to friends, that kind of thing. But then when, everything had to shift, I decided like this made me happy enough that I could shift with it and I could make it into something that I get to sculpt myself. I get to, try to set my own hours and do like I get to pick and choose, conventions that I do, that kind of thing. So I've found joy, through doing that, even though I'm not getting to do my career, which I really do. I mean, I really love doing it. I think, a small percentage of people who ended up in a career they really loved. But I think like my self-care journey came from when I got really sick, and I got very, very sick. I was almost just completely bedridden at first. I was having severe migraines multiple times a week. I'm now on multiple migraine medications, and I still will get like a few migraines a month, amongst a whole host of other things. So I am an ambulatory wheelchair user, so I can walk, but sometimes I have to use a wheelchair now. I had to kind of grieve for all the things that I felt like I was losing, and ended up in therapy and was kind of learning the whole learn your journey from where you are, not where you had hoped you would be or whatever. What can you do from this spot that you're in with what you're given? And that actually was super empowering for me to be like, this is my new reality, and I can't spend a lot of energy being mad and upset about the things that just aren't going to be, but what can I create with what I have? And I love tea, and I like the idea of I love teaching people to love tea, because I'm in a coffee country, right? And I get tons of people who say they don't like tea, and I'm like, it's probably because you haven't really had tea. And I want to introduce you to that. And so I found a spot in a place of love, and I try to use my phrase for my company is keep the kettle on. This idea that we're there for each other, that if you're having a problem, you need some advice, a shoulder to cry on, whatever, the kettle's on, come inside, have a cuppa. I think it's really warming and community building. So
I can relate to that. I understand having a journey of finding your new normal in
yeah.
your life,
It's
how things
hard.
change. I have a daughter with disabilities, and I only said yesterday I've got a niece that her dad's had a stroke, and she's trying to find where her new normal is. And I said to her, through the journey of my daughter, is that you have your baby, then you have a toddler, they go to school, and most mums get that freedom. I said, but mums with kids with disabilities, they don't. They find their new normal because they're still like a mum with a toddler. And my daughter's now 27, and it's very similar. Like she's very active and she's very amazing, and she does a lot of things, but there's still a lot I have to do for her. And it becomes your normal. And when someone says to you, um, like, this is what I'm doing today, you've got to go through, do I have time to do that? Can I get that done? Can I, just to be able to see if you have that in you to be able to do that because of all the things that you do in a normal day. And I was explaining to my niece that she just has to get her dad to find out where his new normal is so he can start moving forward. So, yeah.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
both you guys, it's not only managing the others, but it's also having to manage your energy level.
Hmm.
Like I know,
Mm.
Sienna, your daughter is extremely high functioning and extremely driven.
Yeah.
She's a fashion designer and she shows all around the world, but yet she does not speak, and so it's sign language, so it's remarkable what you have been able to achieve with
Mm.
her. And that comes from all the love and support in the house. But then again, where do you fit in with your goals and aspirations? And I know me and you've talked about that. And then also having the energy for everybody around you.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely difficult.
I have an
Um,
app. I have an app for that. I did, yeah, learning
I,
learning to navigate not having a lot of energy, and having crashes and all that is, but it's like, okay, so I thought I would do this thing, I thought I'd go out and have brunch with a friend, but I'm having a crash, so brunch with a friend is not happening. I could sit there and mope and be like super depressed about it, or I could be like, and know that my friends are going to be supportive and be like, let's just reschedule. And now I'm in my raccoon onesie reading a book because that's what I can manage. And that's still something that is, feeding me as a person. It's just not what I had planned, but that doesn't mean that it's lesser. And
mm,
that's a big thing.
yeah,
It's
it is,
such
and
an
it's kind of
important
the
point, though,
biggest
about
thing.
grieving
Like we,
what you're losing. I love that you said that because we don't always think that. But you're right. Life has phases, like Sienna was saying. You have a toddler, or when your kids go off to college, you grieve the loss of them. But we have these many grieves and mourning along the way.
mm,
Yeah, for everything, because there's kind of like that last time that your kid reaches for your hand. My kid is 22 now, so um but like, he's never gonna crawl into my lap. He's too big. I don't want him to crawl into my lap. Um but those moments are gone, but I'm glad that I had them, but they had their time. And I think a lot of life is like that that moment existed and that moment was wonderful. But there's going to be other moments. I don't have to keep trying to go back and recapture that moment. I can
So
create new moments.
there's a
yeah,
thing
okay.
in psychology that happens where a lot of people are, they get married or they have their baby and they're like, this is the happiest moment of my life. Well, when you frame it in that wording of it being the happiest moment, then every other moment you have after that now has to live up to or break that. And what it does in psychology is it actually teaches your brain that you'll never be happy again, and you become an addict looking for the next high. So it's really actually important to phrase, when you have those happy moments, to phrase them in the way of, this is one of the happiest moments, or this moment was such a good moment. I hope to have more like it. And you'll look for other moments that give you that same feeling. But if you tell your brain it's the happiest you're ever going to be, your brain will follow suit. And nothing will add up, and you become an addict searching for that happy moment again. And it can really spiral you into a depression until you kick your brain out of that mode. Yay,
Which seems like it
psychology
would
books.
compound it because you're like, see, I knew it. It's the happiest I ever was.
Yeah.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It really does become that way. And it's something, so I read tarot at the Renaissance Fair, and, you know, outside of that, through word of mouth, but it's one of the things I tell people when they're like, will I ever be happy again? When, you know, because people come to me a lot when they're going through divorces, when big changes happen, when these, and a lot of the time during very stressful situations. And I'm like, so here's the bottom line on this. Like, you have to, and it's, so I end up telling that to many people throughout, you know, my career as a tarot reader, to be like, you have to be there for yourself and know that, you know, what you want happy to feel like, and tell your brain that that's what you want it to feel like. And it's not easy. I've been, since starting this journey, I have been struggling because I am also kind of on that reinventing path right now because I lost my job. So I'm considered by both the state of California and Texas to be 17% disabled because my left arm doesn't always work and it's numb. My hand is numb. And so I had to leave my career, start a new job, went through a couple of other things, started this as a side business supposed to just help rescues, and then got laid off two and a half months ago.
Yeah, it's been right that long.
And so my husband's like, well, guess what you're doing now?
Rescuing yourself.
Yeah.
Yay.
He's like, you're doing this business and you're going to make it work. And I'm like, okay. And so I've been struggling with that a lot. Like, there's days where it's, you know, I'm in tears or I'm freaking out because I'm going, oh my God, because I don't have that steady income. I don't know what my next paycheck's going to look like, if it's going to cover everything. And it is so scary. But when my friends come and see me, or, you know, we go out for a coffee or something, they're like, you look so much happier than I've seen you in such a long time. And like, they're like, there's like this weight that's off of your shoulder. So while I am still completely stressed out about some things, there's a weight that gets lifted when you start following something that you truly believe in and that is a passion. That just, you know, the financial aspect is terrifying and that doesn't go away. But there's a lot of other things, like I have more energy, I feel more upbeat on a regular basis. I still have my days, but, you know, I'm out here helping animal rescues and helping animals get adopted and helping, you know, people find books and people find strength in themselves. And those are all the things that I love. And I'm able to work with other small businesses in the community to be able to purchase from them and push their business out, because, you know, every time someone buys a book, they don't just get one of these teas, they get her business card. So they know how to find her, you know. And so when I create like baskets and boxes for people to purchase, all of the items that go in there come from small businesses that I've met through doing this. And their business cards are in those baskets that you get. And so you get to go and see all the other amazing things that they carry and that they have. And so, you know, and that to me is so important, is just like building community and having this opportunity, even though it was kind of thrust upon me in an unexpected way, it really seemed to loosen a lot of weight that I didn't even realize I was carrying.
Yeah.
So for me, what I'm coming back to is it's about manifesting your happiness, and it's about putting those affirmations out there in the world, about claiming your own happiness and making it what you want it to be, and taking the power back into your own hands. And for me, I would say I've been doing Word of the Years for the last 3 years now. but manifest was my first one, and it's still been my word of the year every year unofficially. So for me, like, you manifest what you want to become true, and you are the you take that in your own hands and you say, okay, this is what I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make these moments, these small moments, my happy moments, and those small moments are gonna build up into larger ones. And then when you look back, all of those accumulative small happy moments become bright lights in your life that you can say, okay, this is something that has impacted me powerfully, and I'm gonna hold on to that, and I'm gonna keep that happy. So that's what I hear.
Yeah, and it really does. Getting there and getting to that mindset in the first place is the hardest part. And then realizing that even though you're in that mindset, you're still going to have a couple of setbacks. So there's still going to be days where it's like, why is this just not working? Or I'm not sure I can do this. Like today, like I almost had a panic attack when all of a sudden everything that was set up, that my friend came over who does streaming on Twitch, she came over, set everything up and had everything going for me. It should have been, open it, hit click, hit stream, and it should have worked. And it didn't. And she's inaccessible. And so now I'm panicking, going, I set this whole thing up. I have all these people here. What am I going to do? And sometimes it takes just pushing through that instead of letting the panic set in. But sometimes the panic does set in. And then you just have to remind yourself that it's okay to panic. It's okay to stress out. It's okay. Just don't wallow in it. Don't let it sit there for too long. Get it out and then move on. And that's I think the hardest part to figure out, like what does that look like for you? Because for each person, it's going to be so individual. Some people might need a day. Some people might need 2. Some people might only need half an hour to have their freak out and then move on. And that's also going to vary depending on the thing that happened that caused the freak out. And, or that kind of breakdown of stress. And so, but it really is amazing when you can kind of break those chains and do, follow the things that are in your heart. And it is not an easy thing to do.
Going off of like what Lauren said about having a word of the year, I too have been sort of stuck on the same word. I mean, if it's working for you, it's working for you. But mine has been grace, to give yourself grace, to really allow yourself the space and the time to feel really big emotions, to give yourself permission to not be perfect, to just be gentle with yourself. And it continues to be my word because I think I have to keep coming back to it, to remind myself. And I'm much better, like in the first days where I just felt like I wasn't ever going to have my life again, and all these things where I was going to lose and things were going to be terrible. And I had to call, my best friend, and I was like, I need you to message me every day with a grace check so that I can tell you. So I have a moment where I have to go, oh, I need to take a deep breath, and I need to think about where my thoughts and emotions are right now, and am I being good to myself? Am I giving myself the space to hurt, but to grow? And it's been very beneficial for me to think of things that way, and I've gotten so much further along because of that.
We have
and it's wonderful, you talk about freaking out and friends reminding you that it's okay. And I think one thing, I've got one of my best friends, she hates everything to do with social media and online, but I just feel like I'd never have got through some of my freaking out panic moments if it wasn't for the community of people like these sort of people here that you meet online, and you're having a freak out, and any time of day or night there's somebody else that online who can just go, hey, it's okay, I hear you. And sometimes that's all you just need, is someone to hear that you're having that moment. I know Lauren's heard a few of mine. I've heard a few of hers. You know, and it just happens. But yeah, you're right. They remind you that it's okay to be that way and to be kind to yourself. And yeah, it's wonderful.
And also just to check in with your like gut instincts, because like I know Carolyn and I both had those moments where like, so we could do this or this, and you know, like, and we know each other well enough where we can say, okay, but this is what you want. This is what you've always aspired to. So let's go back to what you want
Yeah.
for the basics. Let's go back to what we know is right for the characters or whatever. And it's nice to have people keep us accountable to ourselves and to who we are, whether or not we're writing, you know, a new character or just expanding on a series or whatever. Just nice to have those people to say,
Every
yes, it's
day.
you are who you are, and this is what you want, and that's okay to have that too.
Yeah. Even everyday life, it's good to have that person who can make you accountable, but also put you at ease and put you on your okay, path, because we're everybody else's hero in our family, like you were saying, Gigi. Like, women do tend to take on that role, but who's there to put us back on our straight and narrow? And I found that this community, especially Gigi and another couple of ladies that I chat with, have been that for me. So it's really good.
So we have this saying in my house, you know, we all have disappointments. You don't make the team, you don't get the grade, you don't get into that college, you name it, right? Cry today, start tomorrow. So you can wallow, you can cry, you can be depressed, but we're going to start again tomorrow. And it doesn't have to necessarily be tomorrow, but that's the idea. But what I find fascinating, and I tell people this all the time, if you don't have support in your circle of influence, if it's not your husband or your siblings or your children, you know, if you don't have it immediately, go online, right? You will find your community. If you look, Lauren and Caroline are a world apart. Me and Sienna are a world apart. And then I know that you, Z and Rebecca, you guys are closer. But it just goes to show the power of social media. I know that people don't like it. It's endless scrolling, it's a time waste, it's comparison, it's a highlight reel. But there are genuine and authentic connections that can be made. And so I tell people all the time, find a tribe of people, because you will have someone who will support you from a world away. And that's what matters. If you don't have it directly in your home, which a lot of people don't, then you can find it elsewhere and it'll be the exact support you need.
One of the things that actually turned into a support system was meeting Lauren. And so I found Lauren online. She just happened across my feed, and she was talking about the Million Lives event. And I was like, hey, you know, I'm doing this thing. Maybe we can work out a deal where I can get books from you that, you know, at a price that you can afford, that allows me to also resell them without raising the price exorbitantly. This is what I do. Let's talk. And I had actually done that with several authors, and only 3 of them got back to me. Lauren was one of them. And it just turned out that she was close enough that we could meet. And so this podcast would have actually probably never happened if I had never met Lauren. Because we were just sitting there talking, and I was like, that would be really fun to do that and meet a lot of these authors that I'm trying to get their books on my table and out with the blind date with a book, and, you know, just try and get them known and see more, because I've always enjoyed reading indie authors and meeting them and stuff, like, because they're people and but they have such great stories to tell. And so when we met and talked, I think it was like the next day or just a couple of days later, because we had ended up just kind of starting an online conversation where we were talking almost every day while we were waiting for the books to come in and figuring out prices and things like that. And we had a lot of just general conversation too. And so I was
We're not
literally...
talking a lot about books.
Yeah.
Shock.
A lot of book talk.
A lot of book talk. And so we were, I was in the shower one day and I was like, what if I just did a podcast with this? Like, what would we, like, and I was like, no, I don't know. And I was second guessing myself over and over and over about it. And then put it out to Lauren, and I was like, what do you think about me doing something like this? Like, do you think people would be interested? And she goes, I want to do it. You know, she's like, I'll do it. I'll put it out to all my friends and we'll do the thing. And I was like, okay. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. And so I did it, and I started it, and there are authors on my schedule every other week on Thursday all the way until March. And I have a couple of dates in between in January and February that I need to fill in. But I literally have an author scheduled every other week to put out an interview all the way through March. And I really would have never done that without the support of Lauren. I almost want to cry now. But
Give yourself a hug.
you never really know where that support is going to come from. And sometimes you just have to try, you know, because I was really just trying to throw it out there of like, hey, I can't pay a lot for the books because I have to turn them around, make money, do a donation off of what I sell and all of that. So I can't really pay a lot, but maybe we can work something out where you're still making something, and like you set the price, and if I can do it, I can, and if I can't, then I can't, and we'll go from there. And so it was really just like reaching out and just hoping. And, you know, I ended up with a really great friendship from that, and, you know, a whole different avenue of meeting some amazing supportive people. And so it's just put yourself out there. It's hard and it's scary, but, you know, we just have to try.
I think the first time we met, we talked for like an hour and a half or 2 hours. And we were just talking about like different ways to like make the business successful and like get book brews and dogs out there so that people could know like what you're doing, because like the cause is so worthy. You know, like all of like my cat is a Felvy feline leukemia cat that I adopted. And so like, you know, I'm all about adopting animals and like like raising for the cause. And you know, so I mean like the cause is there and it's a worthy one, so you know, obviously do what you can, you know, to support people that are paying it forward, because that's what you're doing. And you know, that's a great way to move forward in life. And so yeah, I mean, obviously it just made sense.
Yeah.
Just made sense to me.
And then our interview, so we actually had to do 2 interviews before we could post it, because the first one we started recording and then the dogs started acting up while my husband was playing a game and he had them in the room with him. And so I went in to go help him, and when we came back, I forgot to turn the mics back on. So we finished the recording with no sound. So I had to go back and go, we have 15 minutes of sound. We have to do this again. And both times the interview ended up being like over 2 hours. So it's probably the only one that I edited. I think I got it down to an hour and 46, just cutting out our laughing fits.
It's true.
So it's the longest interview I've had. I try to make sure I'm keeping them, you know, with less, not quite so long in the next 2 that I did. But it's so easy because even with Gigi, when I did her interview, we kept getting off topic and I have to keep going back. Well, so let's get back to you, because we'll think of a book and it's like, oh, we're supposed to be talking about you. And so it happened with Jonna D's interview too. So when that comes out next week, you'll see me do that 3 or 4 times again, where we start talking about all these other books and we're just talking and I'm like, wait a second, we're supposed to be doing this. So, but it's a lot, it's just fun, and I love just having these conversations and just, you know, letting them see where they take us instead of having like that script of we're gonna talk about this. I have like 4 or 5 points of making sure that I remember to bring those things up about the projects you guys are doing, and you know, important things that you're doing in the community, and to support the community, and releases you have coming out and things like that. So I have those points and I try to make sure I hit them, but none of what I do is scripted, and it's not edited either.
They're the best.
So.
None, you don't need it. You don't need, yeah, you'll be fine. I think it's good. It's more natural.
So, and also, Adam, thank you for recognizing that the dogs started getting antsy, and I had to try to entertain them in the background playing tug, and but luckily they're doing a lot better, because when I sat down to set everything up, it was pouring rain and people were trying to set off fireworks.
Yeah.
And dogs and fireworks don't always get along, so
Neither do fireworks and rain.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not looking for like this time of year. I don't look forward to, because our dogs are also not fans of fireworks. And
yeah. So Perrin, the husky, actually loves them. He likes to go out and watch the fireworks. He doesn't have any issue. He is the quietest husky that I have ever known.
No screaming?
Even when he
The
talks
only
to
time
us,
he did howl during our second interview.
Yeah, he did. He did do that. But it was like the one time it wasn't even that long. But so Lorene's son is like, I love watching the husky videos. Can she send me a video of her husky talking? And I'm like, I wish I could, but I have to go so far back to try to find one, because he really just doesn't make noise. I call him my broken husky.
Oh.
There's nothing broken about him, but you know, when you watch videos of huskies, everyone's like, they talk, they don't ever shut up, and I'm like, okay, that's my pit bull. My pit bull never shuts up. He's always talking to you. But Murphy is not okay with loud noises, and we have a lot more struggle with him, because he was abused before we got him, and he had the place that they kept him was supposed to be like it wasn't even a shelter. He was being stored in like a boarding place, and he was taking too long to eat his food, so they started taking his food away from him and created food aggression in him. And so then someone went in to his kennel, and like right after he had finished eating or something, it's been 3 years, I can't remember the story exactly, so it might be a little wrong. And they brought someone to come see him, and they just walked right up to him without any letting him out. So he's pinned in this kennel room, and two people he doesn't know just come in, and he bit one of them. And so then he developed a bite history. And I'm like, well, you guys caused that. Like, it was not his fault at all. Like, I'd have bit you too. Like, my food's been getting taken away from me before I'm finished eating it, and then strangers are coming in, and I'm in this loud environment where I can't really sleep, and there's constant noise. Like, I'd have bit you too. Like, so we had to do a lot of retraining and going through, and as when we first got him, you couldn't even walk by him. If you, like, we feed him in a separate room behind a gate, and if you walked by the gate, he would stop eating and growl at you. And so we've worked through that where it's not an issue anymore, and we could probably leave the gate open, but we don't want to. why risk it when it works? It doesn't bother us to not be there.
Yeah.
But it takes time, and the things that the animals go through just being in the shelter. Some of them are turned in, families that can't keep them anymore. Those are usually the first ones to get euthanized, unfortunately. And then, but just being in the shelter is so traumatic that a lot of animals develop shaking syndromes from having to be in that environment. And so that alone can cause enough trauma to have to go through and retrain a perfectly wonderful animal. It's just, knowing that you might have to deal with some of the traumas that they've been through. And sometimes the traumas are they were abused or they got left on the street. And sometimes it's as simple as they were in a good home and now they're in a loud environment and it's scary, because they left everything they knew. Ray just got home.
I could tell. Yeah, so we've had 3 rescues. One of them, she passed away a few years ago. She was elderly. But she was a relinquish. Somebody had given her as a puppy to an older couple. And then when one of them went into hospice care, they relinquished her. So we got her when she was young, but she didn't know how to play with toys or other dogs because it just wasn't in her repertoire. Our current dogs, I say one of them is anxiety in the shape of a dog, and the other one is intrusive thoughts in the shape of a dog. And our anxiety one was abused and thrown out on the street. But she's the sweetest, cuddliest thing, but she's nervous about everything. She thinks she's done wrong all the time. And this is after, it's so much better now than when we first got her. But it's like, that's a part of her personality that's probably never going to leave her. But when we first got her, she chewed on everything. She couldn't stop chewing on things because of the anxiety. She was afraid of belts. She was afraid of men, particularly men with beards, a whole host of things. And now she's gotten over a lot of that, but she's still skittish. And our other one, Blue, is a relinquish, and she was bought, so she's bred, and she's what happens when you kind of overbreed. She's got health issues. She's a dachshund, but she was spoiled from day one, and you cannot get the pretty princess out of her head. It's just part of her personality. They could not be more different, but they are such sisters. 100%. They love each other and hate each other at the same time.
Yeah, these two go through phases where they're best friends and they're zooming around the yard and the apartment together, and then Murphy can get a little much and doesn't always understand dog speak of "I'm done," so we have to sometimes step in, and Perrin will just be like, "I'm done. You're go away," and then 2 days later they're best friends again, and
it's the same where Adora will tap out before Blue for sure, that she gets kind of, but Adora, so everybody talks Blue's our bad one because she's very mouthy. She also talks, she is just a pistol. She is all doxy all day, nonstop. But Adora has learned this thing. We got a bed off our Buy Nothing group and they both love it, but we only have the one. And so Blue likes to get in it and then camp the bed. Adora has learned that she can go basically convince Blue to play with her, run off to the couch, and then as soon as Blue is on the couch, Adora goes and gets in the bed and then camps the bed.
Yeah. So Ray bought me a reading chair that's like a chaise lounge, and he's like, "I found this. I thought you would love it." And, it's like a recycled one. I think he got it at Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, yeah.
But it's absolutely perfect for whether I want to sit up and read or kind of lay down and read.
Yeah.
And it has turned into, I don't know if this will show up really well or not, but it turned into the dog's chair. So
It's not your chair, no.
yeah, they kick me off of it all the time. It is now a dog chair. It's not my reading chair. I have to find a new reading chair. But it's so cute because they love that chair, and I'm just glad that it's big enough for them to actually be able to share it.
Yeah.
But
This bed that they have, they both could fit in it, but they are not, neither one is a snuggly dog. Like, they're both snuggly with people, but they're not snuggly with each other. They're fond of each other, and they, like, constantly check in with each other, but if it's, like, lay down time, they don't want to be next to each other. Because I'm like, y'all would both fit in that bed. Y'all could both have the bed. It doesn't have to be like this.
right.
See, I come from a household where cats will take over the dog bed.
Oh, no.
So I have these ginormous dog beds for like golden retrievers, and my little like 8-pound cat is sitting in the middle of it going, I dare you to sit on this. So yeah. that's my household.
So the first year of Perrin's life, we had Onyx, which was my cat that I had since 3 weeks old. I found him under a dumpster. I bottle fed him. He was 15 at the time, and he used to also do the same thing. Perrin would try to go lay in his bed, and Onyx would be like, no, this is mine now. But they did get along. They would share our bed. They would sit and snuggle on our bed. I have a picture of it somewhere. It would be so long to dig that out, though. Because it's been 2 years since Onyx passed, so I don't have any, and I've got 2 dogs now, so we're looking at probably 6,000 pictures in between the last one of Onyx.
I couldn't tell you how many. I was like, it would be creepy if they were people, but I have so many pictures of my dog sleeping. Like,
so many.
Angels.
It really would be creepy if it was people, but I guess, I don't know, I don't have kids. I guess parents do the same thing with their kids, at least for themselves. People with animals post it for everybody else to see.
That's true. Yeah. I definitely take way more pictures of my dog sleeping than I did of my kids. Like, to be fair, when my kid would sleep, I was like, oh, thank God, it's my turn to sleep too. Or get something done. So, but also my dogs are just blurs if I try to take a picture of them doing something interesting.
I would say a third of my camera roll is my son and my family. A third of my camera roll are Canva downloads for posting as an author.
Right.
And then the other third are bras because I work in lingerie as like my muggle job. So you have bras, books, and Soren. That's done.
Nice. I too I worked at Victoria's Secret for 3 years as a bra specialist, as their top tier bra specialist. And people are like, what a cool job. And I'm like, no, I've seen a lot of boobs now. And most of them I didn't want to see. I didn't ask to see. It's not glamorous.
It's not, but actually, it's very humbling when you get the job done well, and
Yeah.
when you work with women who need it, and they really like come to you, and like you're able to help them. It's amazing. So yeah,
That's
I
kind of
love it
like
for
where
that.
my niche ended up being, was because a lot of the other fitters weren't comfortable working with disabled bodies, weren't
Mhm.
comfortable working with necessarily like larger bodies or bodies that weren't an easy fit. But I was totally fine with that.
Yeah,
And so, and for a lot of those people, it was kind of the first time bra shopping that anybody, treated them that way, and really
yeah,
listened to them and spent any time with them. And so it was really important that that was what I was kind of known for.
yeah,
Was that. And then they would come back and they would ask for me because,
yeah.
it made them feel comfortable.
I've this is 11 years going on in August that I've been doing it. So yeah, I get it. It's an amazing feeling, and I feel like this tangent could go on for like a whole
Yes,
nother like 8 hours. So we're gonna skip this
yeah,
tangent.
we should, because
So then
like it's a deeper topic than you would think. Because when you talk
yeah,
about like fitting trans bodies,
yeah,
that's like a huge
yeah.
deal. Like we could go on
It
and on.
is.
Yeah, and we
It's a deep
actually
honor
have a
it's a deep
conversation
honor.
about that in Lauren's interview, um,
Yeah.
where we talk about that in her interview, as it's such a personal thing. So it's amazing, when you can find somebody that is supportive and non-judgmental and just understanding that you're struggling. Um, you know.
There's a lot of women that I met that are trans that approach me with fear, like I'm gonna judge them for who they are, and I'm like, you are and where you are right now, and like I'm so honored that you trust me to do this process with you because it's such a big deal, and like I fit a woman who was blind in her, like she became blind later in her life. But she was like in her 70s. Um, but we put a bra on her and she was like, this is what it felt like 20 years ago when like she's like, I remember what my body felt like when a bra felt good
Yeah,
and now it feels like that. And so like it's a really like impactful and deeply meaningful experience to work with women on a day-to-day basis. Like you don't think that your bras matter until they do, and then you're able to help build up their esteem and become a therapist if you need to be. Like it's a great niche of retail to fall into,
yeah,
because it's just so much more meaningful. Like I spend my life working with women to help them in a place where they need it and or they don't know that they need it, and I can say this is what I think you need, and um, you know, through like facts and wisdom and patience and time, they're like, oh yeah, like this is exactly what I need.
and it's like, one, it sounds like really simple. It's just a foundation garment, but if you end up relieving back and neck pain, if you
Yeah,
give them more confidence in what they're wearing, like that can change. Like that has a snowball effect.
it really
And
does.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to Petticoat Fair, and it's the largest boutique for lingerie in the country. And the first store was in Austin, and
yeah,
now there's one in Dallas. Um, and I have their measuring scale for bras. It's a little hidden secret, but I have it. And that helped me with European fits. But it's such a great job just to work with women, and it was a passion that I didn't know I was gonna have. Like I was like, oh, I love helping women find their bra size, because now like when you have your foundation set in store, like everything else falls in order, and
mhm,
like you don't have to worry about the rest of your day because you're not fixing your bra and you're not
right,
fussing, you're not
right.
annoyed,
You're
and
not having
you
to
just
like, it's not
yeah, you don't
ill-fitting,
have
and
to
you're
fix your straps
constantly,
because
yeah,
everything's in place, and like yeah, so that's the moment. So my the story that Carolyn first read of mine was Love in Plain Sight, and that was an amalgamation of reading a lot of Lauren Blakely romances, and it got triggered with one of her stories where there was a lingerie boutique owner. And I loved the story because I was like, she got all the sales part right, but she didn't get the technical fitting parts right. And so like it like manifested in my dreams into my main character, Isla Gardner, who does what I do. And so she does all the technical fitting, um and that story is unfinished, but it's still going to be finished one day. And that's what got me going. Like the story got pulled into my dreams, and I was like, hey, I need to be written. This story needs to be told now. And I was like, okay, we're gonna go. And like that's why I started my Instagram account. That's why I started writing everything. And like, it's fun to tell the story because I'm writing about women that aren't 32Bs or 36Cs. They're,
yeah,
sizes that
they
women
are.
actually are. So
So
anyway,
off topic a little bit, I just realized that I totally lied to Gigi and everybody else during her interview, saying that your TRS, The Reluctant Star, and The Bikers of Boston was like the two contemporary romances that I read. I read Caroline's contemporary sports romance arc. And I'm like sitting here as you talked about her book and realizing like there's more. It wasn't just the two. What was I thinking? But it's still indie author, and and then there's another one called My Fiery Opal from Jessica Called, who is a Dallas indie author and one of the three I had reached out to, and she donated 2 books, and so there's actually 4, but they're all indie authors.
That's awesome, though.
And I can't believe that during that interview I just totally spaced on the fact that I had read 2 other ones fairly recently, because I could only The Reluctant Star and The Bikers of Boston were just so in the forefront of my brain, because I mean they're that good. Hi, Ray. They're waving at you. So that I completely spaced on. And Caroline's also was really good. I did enjoy that as well. It's a really cute rugby one. There was a lot of stuff that I had to look up because I'm not a sports girl anyways, and I definitely don't know anything about rugby,
No sports ball.
But it was so much fun to read. And
my
she
editor
does,
said to me, I said to her, shall I put something about how the game works in it? And she said, yeah, that might be a good idea. And then I got swamped. And so when the first arcs went out, it wasn't in it. And straight away then I panicked and said, oh, it's not in it. So I put it out as an extra, but then I updated it because it does help. I mean, you don't really have to know, it's like I don't know the finer points of hockey and I still love hockey books, but it does help, eh?
A few years ago, handful of years ago, I also used to work at a Ren fair, and I was on cast. And during a break, we were all like in the indoor area, and somebody was trying to get Siri to play something, and was like, "What do y'all want to hear?" And I was like, "Play the Eagles." And so Siri played the Eagles, and it says, "The West Coast Eagles do not have a game today." And we're like, "What?" And so we're like, "No, play the Eagles. No one is playing the Eagles today. They do not have a game or match scheduled." And we were like, "What is Siri on about?" And it devolved into like laughter because we could not. Finally, we ended up playing Blind Melon because we were like, something that it's not going to confuse with something else. But we all went and looked, and that's how we got introduced to Australian rules football and how we became West Coast Eagles fans.
West Coast is my hometown.
Is it? Our adopted team does not do well, for the record. It's a labor of love. But the first time we were like, all right, we're all gonna watch it now. We actually we sent a picture. It was like at night in one of the tents, and we had turned on some blue and yellow lights, and then we all took pictures, and we were like, because there's like 10 of us, and we posted it to their Instagram, like saying hello, and they actually sent a thing back. It was so funny, but we had no idea. But we were like, what, like, when they do the ladder, like where a guy literally jumps on another guy, and we were like, what is happening? This game is wild. But we had to absolutely learn about Australian rules football because that game is something else. Else.
It is. Yeah. Live, it was one of our good friends. Their nephew, he plays for St Kilda over in Melbourne, and we went to watch it live in Melbourne. It was like, whoa. I felt like coming home and saying to the rugby guys, hey, I think you need to recruit a few of these guys. They were just amazing, so athletic, and the game's so fast. It's really fun. Really fun. Yeah.
I still prefer rugby over AFL. Like, it's Australian rules is I don't know. I've always preferred rugby.
yeah, I mean, I sometimes think it's because you understand it, but as a live spectacle, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
And I watched a few of it. I was actually going back a million years ago. I was an Eagleette, so I was one of the first cheerleaders for the Eagles.
Whoa.
Years and years ago, for their first game in WA with the Sydney Swans. Yeah.
Pictures, or it didn't happen.
Sure, there's something on YouTube somewhere, but I'm not going there.
Look,
It's amazing.
that's awesome.
Oh my goodness. Well, you guys, we have managed to make this almost 2 hours. It's been an hour and 45. So as fun as this has been, my husband did just get home, so I should probably go and say hi to him because I haven't seen him all day. And I'm sure y'all are very busy and have lots to do. But thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here and participating in this, and I cannot wait to do it again.
Yeah. This was fun.
It was fun.
It was
Thanks for
fun.
having us.
So much.
Thanks for having us.
Have a wonderful night or day, depending on your time zone. And
My day's just started.
see you guys next time. I already have the date scheduled, and so I'll put a thing out for sign-ups for whoever can make it for the next one. So thank you, ladies, so much. Have a wonderful night.
Bye, everybody.